Yep.
I'll get a couple of jacks. Jack and goats. Those are great.
I know, I don't. He's not far out, is it? Like, we kind of asked about it. I see something real cheap. That's probably fair. I tweeted that. I said I used it. No, yeah, it's those coordinators are key. So, it's like, that's actually kind of real tough. You didn't get this any announcement. Well, once it's over, you immediately leave. Every license.
I saw Pat Archie in the game day crowd. I've never actually met him. He like he just runs. He's like, oh, good. That's great. Not gonna be able to see on my screen. That's it. No conversation.
I actually like seeing him. Already something cool about me. It's all good. What did you expect me to say? No, Papa Road. Paul McCartney? I've actually had seen Paul McCartney.
This feels very like your vibe here. This is you.
Oh, yeah. No, it's.
Wait, Mike, you've seen
Papa Road? I've not seen Papa Road, but he was asking me who I want to see. I actually would like to see.
You want to see Papa Roach?
I'd rather see like Metallica. Because it's just an experience.
Papa Roach might be an experience too.
Comment really. Start talking about
I've not seen Papa Roach.
Have you seen Metallica?
Yeah, I've not seen Metallica.
I'm trying to think of living bands that I actually want to see.
I want to see Springs music.
Yeah. I remember I wrote about a good Charlotte song for middle school classmates.
Yelling around for the dogs.
On tour with my brother again.
Right as I was stopping for.
Oh, really?
I
I had to write about it, so I didn't help out with it.
You can get out anytime you like.
So that's what you can check out.
How I keep my mental sanity. Going to see Godsmack.
Ooh. Video action? Yeah, I love that song.
I feel like the only
like
way
a
to see
90s
Godsmack is on a
fan?
cruise.
No, that's a little bit too.
Oh, that's where you draw the line.
Rock song.
Too artistic. Yeah.
I was hoping this is
Matchbox 20.
Oh, hell, hey, Matchbox 20. Yes.
Yeah, I like 182.
Oh, yeah. Offspring.
Maybe not.
Be an experience, though.
I wouldn't mind seeing Korn. Be fun. At least like Woodstock 99 there. I was supposed to go to Korn.
I've been to a couple of country concerts.
Yeah.
Jago, Jason.
I've seen it on. It was bad.
That was like 15
Yeah,
years
but you don't know who Waylon Jennings is.
I don't know who Waylon Jennings is.
No. Stop talking about it.
Hold on, hold on, Matt.
You know, I just named these like minuscule artists. Just small guys like the most commercial successful poetry singer of the 1970s.
Morning, everyone. We'll have Coach begin with his opening statement, and we'll take questions whenever you're ready, Coach.
All right. when you look at the game last week, probably one of the things that I'm pleased with is our guys were able to overcome some early adversity. Thought our sideline did a really good job of staying locked in. Thought our players, Tim Keenan in particular, did a really good job on the sideline. Had a conversation with those players afterwards. I kind of brought them and talked to them about how we need to handle things, and then right after Tim got them all together and thought, said the right things at the right time, right? Great leadership is great messaging at the right time, and I thought our players really responded well. Obviously the rushing yards in the first quarter, we had some unacceptable situations. We had two errors. One was a misfit, if you will. Just not taking the air out of your gap, and another one was we didn't have a defensive lineman that slanted properly and gave up two explosive runs. We got to create more overlap in the defense in those situations as well. But certainly a nice job the last three quarters from defending their run game. Starting the second half, going a 4 and out and a 3 and out, I think was huge. Kind of set the tone for the second half, and then only giving up 3 explosive plays to our 13 explosives that we were able to create as well. So some of those things are good. We have got to start the game faster on a more consistent level as a defense. Twice this season we have not started games fast. That when you play in the SEC, you cannot let other teams take the momentum early, and then you feel like you're fighting your way back. Credit our guys in the way that they were able to fight, but certainly something that we do not want to build a consistent habit for. So those things have to get fixed. Good teams continue to get better as the season goes on, and that will be the challenge to our guys as we face another good SEC opponent on the road. Missouri is doing a tremendous job right now, particularly on offense. They've got a very potent running game. They've got 2 running backs that are as good as anybody we have seen the last year and a half here. They break tackles. They're physical. They can make you miss. And then when they get in open space, they've both shown the ability to create explosive plays with their speed. So they present a number of challenges in that regard. I think their quarterback is operating at a very efficient level right now, completing over 75% of his passes. They do a great job of mixing in their run and pass game, and they're very complementary in their play action game and make things look the same as well. And so certainly there's a lot of great things that you see from their offense. It'll be a great challenge for us. It's a faster week being an 11 a.m. kick. And so, some of those late games that you get on Saturday, you get an extra walk through some of those things being on the road, the time to travel. So it'll be a great challenge for our guys to turn the page to another great SEC opponent. So looking forward to the week ahead and having our players ready to go on Saturday.
Thank you, Coach. Let's start with Chase on the far left.
Yeah, 2, if I may. One, I want to ask you about London Simmons. Made a couple plays against Vanderbilt, but really didn't get a whole lot of snaps, so it was kind of a flash there from him. And then also with Missouri in terms of their block, and what do they do up front to spring Ahmad Hardy that y'all need to deal with in practice?
Yeah. I thought, London continues to show up and does a good job. When you're going in a game where, you have some early adversity, like we talked about, you want to try to keep, your older experienced players in the game. And certainly, when you look at rotations, there's times where our offense did a really good job of staying on the field. We won the time of possession battle, and so typically you're just naturally going to have more of your starters in the game. And so, Tim was doing a really good job in that situation, and sometimes you're just not going to pull him out as much. But London, certainly, when you go back and you watch the tape, has earned the right to get more playing time, and certainly this week I would imagine you're going to see more snaps from him. When you look at Missouri's offensive line, I think they've got great scheme. Drink has been running kind of that outside zone scheme since he was at App State. Does a really good job with it. They are able to create seams in the run game through different variations of zone scheme, and they've got some gap schemes that are pretty good. They do a nice job. And their backs, they break tackles. I mean, rarely does the first guy get either one of their first two backs down, and so you gotta swarm to the ball, you gotta gang tackle, you gotta be physical, you gotta put screws on screws. You know what I mean? We talk about surface area being a huge piece to efficient tackling. So if you tackle a big back on, with just your shoulder, and you don't put surface area body on body, you're rarely going to make the play. So those are things that we've got to do at a high level on Saturday.
Go to Charlie on the right side.
I know you kind of talked about their run game a little bit, but just with Ahmad Hardy specifically, what stands out about his game?
Yeah, all the things that I just said. I think he's a fantastic back. I think he is very physical. I think he has great patience in the run game. Does a really nice job of making either the first guy miss or breaking the tackle. And then when he's out in space, he can create the explosive play, which, ultimately any great run team, when they're committed to running the football, it's like body blows in a boxing match, right? And those body blows continue to hit, and then all of a sudden you create explosive plays, and that's what they've been able to do efficiently to this point in the season.
Go to Nick.
Yeah, the second half against Georgia and Vandy, I think a total of 7 points that you guys have allowed over those two games. Has there been a common theme in terms of adjustments, or what has been the key there in terms of those adjustments at halftime each time?
Yeah, I think, especially early on in the season, you get a feel for what a team is trying to do. So they've put a body of work on tape, but then specifically for you, for our team, how are they attacking us? And I think, our staff has done a really good job. Our players have done a really good job of taking, really since the Florida State game, of taking the adjustments that we have made on the sideline and at halftime and applying them to the next drive and next series. And if we'll continue to do that, we will make it hard for people as the game goes on, right, to be an efficient offense. And so that's something that we're doing a really good job right now. I think the level of communication for our team, especially being in year two as a defense, just the understanding of coaches is very seamless when we get in there at halftime. The adjustments, we're very efficient with it right now. The communication to the players goes out through position coaches, and then I bring those guys all in and kind of give them the overarching theme again, hit the high points of the things that we need to make sure we defend so we can make people play left-handed. So whatever it is that they show, we are going to make sure that we take away those top 1, 2, 3 things in the game and then see if they can beat us with option 4, 5, and 6.
Go to Katie on the left side.
Justin Jefferson was named SEC Defensive Player of the Week. Just what did you see from him on Saturday, and then really how have you seen him take advantage of this extra year he was able to get?
Yeah, certainly. I remember. When it was sometime around maybe Thanksgiving or something like that when we found out that he was going to have a chance to be eligible. Maybe it was later than that, actually, when I think about it, maybe in December. But that was a special moment. I remember calling Chuck Morrell, at that time, and that was big because we were looking for linebackers out of the portal. In fact, I think it was December. But certainly we were all excited, and I got a chance to call him and let him know that he was going to get to come back for another year because you knew he was going to affect, have a great impact on our defense, in this season. And certainly, Saturday was a great example of that. Justin has a great feel for, just instinctive tracking. He can track the ball really well. And then obviously, he's a very physical player. He is a very fast player. He can create, he can take space away out of ball carriers. Did a really good job. We work creating takeaways every single practice at the beginning of practice. And you talk about a textbook. You show exactly what he did in practice that week and exactly what showed up on game day of stripping that ball loose. Well, we do that over and over and over again, and it's just so rewarding, right, for those players to be able to show that, hey, it showed up on game day, right, in a very critical moment. And so very proud of him and the effort that that he's bringing and the energy he's bringing to our defense. And I think he'll continue to build off of those things.
Let's go to Joe in the back left.
Coach, what makes the shovel pass such a challenging concept to defend?
Yeah, it is. It's a really challenging concept. I mean, we got hit on it last year against Vanderbilt. It showed up in a couple of different games last year. as well. Florida State tried it against us, and we were able to knock it out in that situation. Some of it is there are certain calls that are better against the shovel, and some that aren't. And it's a challenge because when you get teams that run shovel plays on third down, you almost have a decision to make with your defensive ends. Are you just gonna play on the line of scrimmage and not try to affect the quarterback, or are you gonna do certain things, to try to create some overlap? We had I think one of the plays we had a chance to be able to defend it better than what we did. One of the other plays I thought I made a really tough call for our guys in that situation. But it's a play. I've told you guys this before. Whatever you put on tape, you're going to have to answer for, right? And that's a play that we're going to have to continue to answer for. We work it probably more than we should. So it's disappointing that we gave 2 of them up. But at the same time, you kind of have to ask, what are you willing to live with a little bit? And I'm not saying that we're going to give up shovels for the rest of the season. I'm okay with that, all right? I don't want our fans hearing that. But what I do want our people to understand, right, is like you have to affect the quarterback. And our ability to affect Diego Pavio is what won us the football game. And so sometimes, right, you're going to have those situations where, their counterpunch to that was a shovel play every now and then. We got to do a better job defending it. But certainly there's going to be times where you got to make sure you keep the main thing, which is affect the quarterback in the passing game.
Go to Colin, front left.
Hey, Kane. Well, when you look at Missouri and game plan, what kinds of things carry over in terms of defending the run? Like, whether it's against Bo, option play, things like that. What kind of carries over? What are you encouraging your guys to look at?
Do you mean like from the first 5 games to what carries over to this game?
I'd say from specifically last, like what worked last week in run defense heading into.
Yeah, gotcha. Well, I think anytime you defend like 1+ quarterback option style systems, right, where the quarterback has a chance to, run the ball, there's an element of discipline, right, that you have to play with across the board. I think our guys, took some of the mistakes from the first quarter and applied it to the last 3 quarters of the game from a run game standpoint. There were some schematic adjustments that we made that gave us a chance, that we were a lot more disruptive in the run game as well. And so those are some things that, you want to create some overlap of the defense, and you want to, let our guys go play really fast. I didn't think at the beginning of the Vanderbilt game, as much as we stressed it, talking about playing physical, playing fast, not playing on our heels, we still, that first drive of the game, I did not think we were playing very aggressive. I didn't think we were playing very fast. And so, I told our coaches, like in those situations, like put the iPads down, take your headset off, and let's make sure that we get our guys playing really fast and physical. And that was even Tim Keenan doing an example of that. And so when you look at the run game, a lot of it is just the physicality that you have to play with. And I think that's one thing that I want to make sure we keep on the forefront of our players' minds. We will make adjustments. We will have game plans going into each week and what each opponent in the SEC gives us. But at the end of the day, the physicality and violence that we have to play with is the reason why we were able to knock out the run Saturday, and that has to continue.
All right, let's finish up with Alex right in the middle of the room.
Sab was able to make a play, obviously, on Saturday. With Sab and Lawson, given the extended amount of time they were out, what have you sort of seen from them as we've gotten further into the season as far as where they are? Yeah,
I think you look at both those guys, they're continuing to take steps in the right direction. There is an element to, I said it a second ago, good teams get better. Good football players get better as the season goes on. And certainly when you're coming off of an injury, there is a certain level of adjustment period, right, and getting back into the swing of things. I like, Keon is playing at a faster level week in and week out. Deontay, all the communication pieces. Sometimes he doesn't make the play necessarily, so it doesn't show up to you, but to our defense, structurally, all the things that he gives us from a communication standpoint, anticipation, alignments, and getting our guys in position to go execute. I think he's doing that at a really high level right now. And so, I'm excited about those 2 guys. I'm excited about a number of guys in our defense. But whoever continues to take steps forward will be the ones that, that stand on top of the mountain at the end, right? And those are the teams that ultimately put in the work and the preparation the week of practice so that they can show up on Saturday. And that's certainly what we got to do getting ready to go to Columbia, Missouri on Saturday. All right, thanks, guys. Roll Tide.
Enjoy.
All right, go ahead, leave your hands up. We'll start with questions. Let's start with Charlie on the far right here.
Hey, Coach. Ty obviously had another strong performance, but afterwards he kind of took ownership of not only the interception, but the 4 sacks. Just what does that say about him and his leadership?
He's grown. He's grown into his role, and it was good, to hear him take ownership right after the game too, because there were certainly some things we left out there on the field. I thought Ty made some incredible off-schedule plays, but just got to make the easy ones too. So take care of the football is a big part of what we do. And I thought there was a couple plays he obviously put the ball in jeopardy, and we just got to avoid those and eliminate them.
Going to the left side, let's go to Chase.
Overall this season, how would you assess the way the wide receivers and the tight ends have blocked for the run game?
We're getting there. I know they know the importance of it in this system, that they're not going to just be out there catching footballs. They got to be part of the blocking scheme. And I know that there's been good unit reinforcement in the meeting rooms and things like that they know what their job is. I think that we lack some details on a couple plays in the blocking schedule on a few of the perimeter plays. So I thought we definitely could have done a better job there, and we will this week. So we got to focus on that a little bit.
Front row on the left here, Emily Grace.
Coach, we've seen some creative play calls the last 3 games. I'm curious what your process is for evaluating when to go for something a little more creative and when it's best to be more straightforward.
Well, it typically based on a look. If there's something that we feel pretty strong that we're going to be able to get them into the look that we want, we'll be aggressive on that. If we don't know and there's a little bit of in between, we'll probably stay away from it. And then it's also about who the players are and how much you trust them, because the tough plays and plays like that where you're risking things, they got to be like Jeremy Bernard, somebody that you trust. He's going to take care of the football, do the right things. That's what we're looking for.
Go to Nick on the far right.
Yeah, Kirby Moore being a guy you worked with at Fresno, I realize you're not directly going against him, but how have you seen kind of him grow since your time together now that he's an OC?
Oh, I think Kirb's one of the best coordinators in the country. I think he does a great job. When we were together, super bright mind, wasn't just pass oriented. I think he's grown a lot, obviously, in the run game. They do a fantastic job running the football. But yeah, Kirb's awesome. I think he's just going to keep growing. And we were together, what was that, 2017? We started together as position coaches at Fresno, and he coached an elite group of receivers out there, and really prided himself on detailed execution of his guys. And so not surprised to see him having a lot of success.
Going to the back left, let's go to Joe.
Coach, we didn't see Jaden Roberts on Saturday. We're just wondering if anything went into that decision. And what have you seen from Wilkin moving from right tackle to right guard in various situations?
Yeah, Jaden's still working his way back onto the field. Last week I thought was a big step for him. He's progressing nicely, in practice and things like that. So really expect him to be able to make a contribution this week. And then as far as Wilkin goes, still growing at guard. Gave up a sack on the one on the inside. Thought, Ty probably could get rid of the ball, but I think Wilkin's just still trying to come into his own in there. But he had some really, really nice plays as far as on mid zone and things like that on the inside. So still just trying to work the depth of the roster at all those spots and get guys into their best position.
Colin on the front left there.
Kind of going back to Charlie's question, but you've seen kind of the national attention kind of uptick for Ty Simpson over the past few weeks. I'm curious, as he continues to grow and but also as he continues to get praise, how have you seen him handle that and kind of, just through that process?
Yeah, just, quarterback in general should be, deflect, take all the praise away and, take all the blame. And I think Ty's doing a good job of that. And he's a humble guy, when you talk to him, and he understands all the improvement. Because I think what Ty sees, which is really encouraging, is that I don't even know what he threw, 300 and some yards, whatever he threw for. He can come into a meeting room and accept, and have an open mind to all the things that he could have done better, and really focus more on his process and what it's going to take to play his best game, because every week we're going to play really good opponents. So he knows he's just got to keep building that armor and understand how to, make himself a little less vulnerable in a few of those situations, and then capitalize on some of the, unbelievable plays he makes out of the pocket, when he's off schedule. So I think Ty is he just grows every single week. Practice, games, all that, just like any quarterback that's starting out. So I think sky's the limit for him.
Let's go to Mike in the back middle.
Jan mentioned that you challenged the backs last week. Just what did that consist of, and how do you think they responded?
Well, I definitely think they respond. I think, some of the things are, missed tackles forced is something that we've, been trying to address and try to get better at. Our job is to try to get the running backs on a defensive back one-on-one, and we had a couple missed tackles forced in the game. So I think that part, and then just being really, really sound on their pass protection, which Jam is all the time. He is as solid as they come in there, and understanding both scheme and, just being physical at the point of attack. So for us, I think Jam kind of setting the tone there and really wanting to show that we can run the football was something that he took very personal.
Let's finish up with Katie on the left side.
The kicking game has been 2 of 5 on field goals of 40 yards or more. So kind of as an offensive coordinator, how does that affect your strategy when y'all are on that side of the field and maybe on 3rd and 4th down?
Score more touchdowns, yeah, for sure. It was disappointing, to be honest. I thought our red zone execution was poor, something we got to work at a lot. We can't put ourselves in those positions to count on another part of the football team to take care of our business. So for us, we still got to follow the script and understand we can't press in those moments, but certainly, our opportunities there, we had done a really nice job the previous 2 weeks down the red zone, and so to see ourselves take a step back like that was discouraging. So we're going to put a lot of effort into that and execute a lot better down there this week.
Thank you, Coach.
Yep, thank you.
Okay, we'll have Coach make his opening statement and take questions.
Yeah, just proud of the team and the competitiveness we showed on Saturday. Definitely did not start fast and up to our liking there, but we never really flinched. And I think just the spirit of our guys on the sideline, what the energy was there, and also in the locker room at halftime. Just really showed that our guys are understanding the fight that it takes each and every week in a SEC game for 4 quarters to get a win. And so got a couple takeaways that were key. Time of possession, something that certainly was a positive for Vanderbilt, and will be again this week against Missouri, something that we took advantage of. Thought there was, again, some things that we did better, but some things that we definitely got to improve on. And it's a hard reset this week going into Missouri. I think our guys, understood that, and Sunday, just making that and flipping the switch to where we got to move forward. We got a very good football team coming off a bye week. We got to play a 11 o'clock kickoff and on the road. So we just got to be ready to get ready to roll tomorrow. Have a great week of practice, and the guys I think are, now into that just rinse and repeat kind of mode, each and every week, understanding the process. And we got to continue to get better at the process, because, again, those things that happened early in the game or our lack of execution early in the game, that happened for a reason. Some of it's your opponent, but some of it's just we got to do our job better. And so that's going to be the challenge going ahead here. And, again, Missouri posed a lot of problems for you, just what they do physically, running the football. I mean, they're dominant against the run. They're dominant. Time possession, put a lot of points on the board and hold teams down, with the limited possessions you're probably going to get. So Coach Drinkwitz has done a great job building that program up, been super consistent here with the wins, but also just consistent each and every week with what you're going to get. And, we're going to be looking forward to a great challenge on Saturday.
Thanks, Coach. Let's start with Nick on the far right.
Yeah, Ty was using words like unacceptable and ridiculous to talk about things that he did in the game. How have you seen him battle complacency?
Yeah, I don't think there's a reason to be complacent yet, because we've been, still early in the season, and just that's the way we talk in the program. Just with it ain't good enough. Like there's so much area, and you're working on things, and you want to acknowledge improvement, and you want to acknowledge the ways that we fight, but from an execution standpoint, there was a lot of stuff that we can do better. And I think Ty recognized that. He felt that. We're addressing it on the sideline. He can feel it. He knows what it's supposed to look like, and he understands. And he's past the point now where he's got to try to prove to people that he can do it. He's done it at a high level. So now it's about his leadership with our team and helping us be the best version that we can each and every week as we improve.
Go to Katie on the left side.
You're in the middle of a 4-game stretch against ranked teams, and I think 6 of the next 7 overall. You talked about Missouri's coming off a bye, so are some of the other teams. Just have you ever been part of a stretch like this before, and kind of how do you have to approach this with your team?
Yeah, I think there's always been times where you look at a month and you're like, back in whatever month in the spring, the schedule comes out and you're like, okay, that's going to be a grind, but you don't even look at it that way. You look at one game and you focus on that one game, and that's what we did against Georgia, and that's what we did against Vanderbilt, and now that's what we got to do against Missouri. You focus on only that game, and when you do it, all of a sudden you find yourself going through the month and you're like, okay, like we've gotten better, and okay, we got the win, and again, just focusing on the process, focusing on what it has to look like as we refine everything we're doing. Just competing at the highest level. When you just focus on those things that you can control, the schedule, you work through it one by one, and you end up usually, if you got the talent and you got the people and you catch a break here and there, you end up on the right side of it.
Let's go to Charlie on the right side.
Yeah, Coach Grubb actually said that the red zone execution was poor on Saturday. What did you just see in that area of the field?
I mean, it's different things, right? We talk about, Ty, and a lot of attention always goes to the quarterback, and he even acknowledged, there's things he knows he can do better there. So it's just, to me, it's just execution as a whole. It's understanding the situation you're in. What's going to hurt us is going to be negative plays. Being behind the chains, is emphasized even more as you move closer to the red zone and in the red zone. And so it's going to hurt you out in the middle of the field when you're behind the chains, but as that space continues to shrink, and the defense is going to throw some more things at you because they're a little more desperate too, and have their way of going about things. You got to execute, you got to adjust as you move the ball into that area. We got caught behind the chains. We ended up with some plays that weren't executed, and didn't get the yards we need to put ourselves in good, favorable down and distances.
Go to Chase on the far left.
Coach Grubb mentioned that Jaden Roberts will probably see some action this week. He didn't against Vanderbilt. Just to be clear, was he dinged up, or is it more a situation where y'all are trying to get looks from other guys? Or?
Yeah, I mean, it's competitive right now at those positions. It's more than just his. And guys are competing in practice, and that's, to me, a big part, of what you got to do. And the comeback for him has been progressing, and I think that's why you probably feel the vibe from Coach Grubb and the words he said. But he's got to just keep doing it, and that's what we ask of every guy, And some of these guys have gotten chances to get on the football field. And taking advantage of it, and that's made it harder for others who maybe have had roles that were assumed. But it's competitive, and Jaden, love Jaden. What a great kid, and got a lot of potential, and so just he's going to keep working.
Got a couple more questions on the left side of the room here. Let's start with Colin, then go to Emily Grace.
Hey, Kalen. How would you assess Connor Talty's performance, I guess, over the first 5 weeks, but specifically against Vanderbilt?
Yeah, disappointed in that first kick, but really you think about putting yourself in his shoes, and you miss that first one, and I think the next one was a tie game, and a pretty important kick when he had to go back out there, and for him to respond, eliminate any thoughts that might be in your head and move forward, and then make another one and make the three that were important in the score, being what it was. Even the one with the angle, you can overthink that too, and at the end of the game to make it a 9-point game. That's an important kick at an important time. And, it's not just him too. It's everyone else working in unison with the snap and the hold. Thought he responded well. There's nothing you can do about it when you do miss that one. Yeah, we want those points. But I thought his response was really good.
Let's go to Emily Grace.
Coach, the connection between Ty and the wide receiver room seems to be really strong. What is that dynamic like from your perspective at practice and off the field?
Yeah, I think they feel it. They feel what they're capable of, and so they continue to, I think, do a better job of understanding what the calls are, what Coach Grubb's looking for, what the staff's looking for, why we're running these plays, what the problems are that we can pose for the opponent when we execute, and then it's being at the right place at the right time, and then the ball placement will be there, and that leads to yards after catch, and so they're feeling that, and they know we'll go to them when they execute. So work on practice, talk it through, make sure if there's something that didn't feel right in practice or in the game or something different than what the look is that we did see throughout the week, they're all over it. They're proactive. And, I think that's what great teams do. And, that unit working together, it's been fun seeing their growth.
Let's go, Jamie.
Hey, Coach, coming off momentum from back-to-back emotional wins over Georgia and Vandy, how do you guard against the trap game mentality this week, and what reminders do you lean on to keep your guys sharp and focused?
Yeah. I mean, they're 5-0. They're a ranked team, and so, I think the whole thing isn't like it's not a surprise that we're facing this team that that's going to be at a high level on the road, and so it's taken all of our experiences that we've been through and applying it, knowing that going on the road is hard in the SEC, knowing that any game in the SEC is hard, and then taking our lessons learned or experiences, what I like to refer to them, and just understanding how we've become successful and how we've had improvement here. It just goes back to shutting up and doing the work, showing up and doing the work, doing those things each and every day that lead to a feeling of confidence that allows you to go out on the field on Saturdays and be successful and be the best version of yourselves. And, you've heard it from us. I mean, there's so many things that we fell short on that, really foundationally go back to the preparation or lack of that we didn't have, and it might just be one play. It might be one person in that one play. So it's not the whole unit or a whole mindset where guys are overlooking. It's just one guy's got to do his job better, and all of a sudden, that's going to eliminate an explosive run. And so, one guy doing a better job in pass protection, and all of a sudden now we're converting a third down where a guy was wide open that we could have, had an explosive play and maybe even a touchdown on in the first quarter. So just got to keep the pedal down. That's what our guys have done a great job of. They haven't listened to what's outside. You can't help but know that it's out there or hear it even a little bit. Whether it was the negative talk or the pats on the back, it means nothing. Our guys got to keep moving forward. They got a long ways. I mean, I think we can see what the ceiling is, and it's much higher than what we performed even on Saturday. And that's what they got to be excited about, that they haven't reached that. And that's what's got to be the challenge moving forward.
Let's finish up with Joe in the back left.
Coach, what have you seen from William Sanders over the last couple of weeks to let him earn some playing time at left guard? And when you have Wilkin at right guard and William and Kevin Riley in the backfield, you've got three players from right here in the area on the offense. What does that mean to you? And maybe do they add anything being local?
Yeah, I think from a local standpoint, that's pretty cool that those guys are contributing at the level they are and continue to get better. Because that's certainly the case with all of them. They are continuing to get better, and that leads to, just Sanders and what he's been doing and why he's getting his opportunity. He didn't go like, woe is me when he wasn't getting those reps early in the season. He just continued to grind. He continued to show up. And just like our team and what I'm asking of them, he's done that, taking it personally. And the guys that do that, they're going to keep getting better. You're in this program for a reason. We're counting on you. We're counting on you to get better. We're counting on you to help make our team what it can be. And he's done that. And so that's why he's, gained a few reps in games that you've seen here over the last couple of weeks.
Thanks, Coach.
Yep, thank you.